Good evening, everyone. So today I'd like to talk about the process of innovation in a digital transformation. And first of all, I'd like to start with the company description and talk a bit about us as Inatech. The company was founded in May 2020 to support digital transformation program of VTB. VTB is the second largest bank in Russia, and it is a universal bank that covers all the lines of banking business. The program involves complex transformation, not only of the banking IT systems and infrastructure, but also business processes and practices. One of the bank's objectives is to reduce the paper document flow by 90%, which is very ambitious. To support this program, we right now have more than 5,500 professionals who works on different projects within the transformational program, and the products are used by more than 15 million end users who is customers of the bank, and also a few thousands of bank's employees. Since we are designing the cutting-edge software using the modern technologies, we are praised and honored to be a Skolkovo resident, which is the home to many innovative companies in Russia. Speaking about technologies, even so we use the modern technologies, it is bulletproof and tested in very high load environments, and allow us to build very reliable systems. The interesting fact about Inatech is that we were born, as you can probably know, in the middle of pandemic, when everyone was locked at home and all the offices were closed. And this actually gave us an opportunity for growth, almost explosive growth, because we could attract and attain the best talent in not only in the city of presence, which is Moscow, but also in all other remote corners of our country. Right now, our team is scattered across 69 cities and 11 time zones. And this gives us an advantage of being able to release at least one change and product or service a day. Going back to the topic of the digital transformation, I would like to tell you sort of a story about the attempt to leap from outdated and very old customer experience to sort of future digital customer experience, which the objective for many banks in our world right now. Everyone wants to provide their customers with modern, very sexy looking and very functional applications that will give an access to every banking service possible. And the story starts with the mergers and acquisitions that happened over the course of 6 years between 2012 and 2018 by the VTB group. The group acquired 5 banks and all the problems related to this acquisition. For example, every bank has its own set of IT systems that solve the similar business tasks. They had unique technology stack. Each one has their own unique technology stack. And also they supported, these stacks were supported by unique suppliers, and each supplier had their own separate roadmap. In total, the group's infrastructure contained more than 800 IT systems, and as you can imagine, it was a nightmare for CTIO team and all the tech support team. To make things even more complicated, each bank had different sets of customer interaction channels. For different lines of business, they had different applications, different functions, and everything was very diverse, and it was very hard to keep things synchronized. And whenever there was a goal to roll out a feature or a function or a service or product, it was almost impossible to roll it out for every customer of the group. Even so, the bank didn't want to keep these 6 banks separate. They wanted to merge all the banks into one, to merge all the customer bases and provide every customer in these groups with the best banking service possible. But to do this, they had to overcome a set of problems, and these were unfortunately the technical problems. And the first of all, and the most important, was that for every channel there was a separate vendor and the separate middleware, which was very hard to keep in sync. This also caused the problem with omni-channel experience. As we know, 3 or 4 years ago, there appeared a trend for providing the omni-channel experience among different channels. Like every bank and every user wanted to start, let's say, getting a service in the mobile application, and then when it is more convenient to just open the laptop and continue filling out the forms and talking to the banking staff without any starting the process over. Also, different suppliers use different technology stacks, and this caused different implementation of the login, monitoring, and management functions. And this caused very hard investigation process for incidents. Even minor incidents could be investigated for over a month and just with nothing, because all the data after a week or 2 could be lost because of the log rotation. Also, to roll out something new, there was a very complicated quality control procedures, and if there is something, even minor issue appeared, it was very hard to find where it is, and it was very hard to do this. It took a long time. And this caused the long release cycles, and time to market for some features were not weeks or months, it could be a year. And above all, the large set of systems, different suppliers, different technologies made it very hard to work out the single roadmap for all the systems and infrastructure development. It was very hard to predict and control it. And nevertheless, the ultimate goal for the bank was to not only resolve the current set of issues, but also enable the bank to future growth and development. And for this, it was important to improve reliability and predictability of IT infrastructure. It was important to reduce the cost and time to market for products and services. To achieve this, the IT team had to simplify the release cycles and simplify the architecture. And they had to let's say, unify the functions in the same or even single architecture blocks. There was a clear need for omnichannel service model, and not only to provide the opportunity to provide seamless experience in mobile and web banking. There was always also a need to, let's say, prepare for future channels. Maybe some way of phone banking, maybe, I don't know, WhatsApp banking, which is very popular right now in the Middle East region. Also, the objective was to reduce or even eliminate the dependability on the low-level technologies or even on the core banking technology. The bank wanted to isolate business processes from the core banking infrastructure and make it as independent as possible. The other goal, which was very important for bank, is to improve the product rollout. They wanted to have an opportunity to perform A/B testing, to test the products on a small subset of customers among the huge customer base. Also, open banking and banking as a service were on the agenda. And the last but not least reason why they wanted to transform the whole infrastructure is to make it more easier to bring the new talent on the board. Switching from the old outdated technologies to the new and sexy ones, it became easier to attract young developers who would be interested in developing something new, not only in terms of service, but also in terms of technology. And as the saying goes, the journey of 1,000 leagues starts with the first step. And for this transformational program, it was the unification of the interaction channels. Because the bank had to start with something, they decided to unify the channels based on one application per channel, per customer group, retail or corporate, and do it with customer data and master data aggregation and integration. They have changed the middleware, the way when it interacted with core banking systems through the integration layer. And this layer was aimed at collection, aggregation, and the presentation of the data, and served as a single data source for all the middlewares that worked with the customer interaction channels. Then, by achieving this, the next step was to provide more unified experience for both categories of customers in two kinds of application channels. For this, we have developed a set of native applications that adapted user interface depending on the class and category of banking clients. Its products and services activated. Building these applications from scratch, we managed to design a completely new architecture and added to the infrastructure an omni-channel layer that controls the state of the user's request and business processes involved in the initiation and progression. Interaction between applications was built on the set of APIs that hit omni-channel operations and could be reused equally in different channels. Basically, what happened, we had just a single set of business logics that were used by different applications seamlessly. And also, omnichannel layer was built on microservice architecture principles, and that allowed us to add new and changing existing business operations independently with no interruption to the complex service. And finally, isolate the core banking systems from the customer interaction channels. The next step was to bring business process automation. And for this, we first extracted the banking API layer from the platform and converted it into the open banking API platform. This enabled us to bring new features for partner integration capabilities, such as not only APIs, but also documentation and interfaces for for partner onboarding. And this in turn gave us an opportunity to integrate with major payment systems that are currently available on the Russian market, also with fintechs and non-banking service providers like insurance, car insurance, different marketplaces, even mobile networks. Such a change didn't only bring to users access to a wide range of lifestyle and financial services, but also required the bank to have an extra tool for management usage monitoring. Otherwise, it would be just impossible to perform an issue resolution. And thus, we had to add an application and workflow engines to simplify the extension of tools and services aimed to business process automation. In a sense, we pulled some part of the back and front office processes to the platform. And the final step in platform development was to add the customer 360 overview platform layer. And this one is the cherry on the top, the holy grail of marketing that is so demanded by the marketers of every bank all over the world. That allows not only to collect the data and calculate behavior patterns, but also to see what actually users need and target them with the personalized offers. The major objective for this part is to avoid offering the customer with services that they already use, at most to add something that is very valuable, but probably not highlighted for the customer until the moment of the offer. And the final step in the transformation was to merge the core banking systems of every bank acquired 10 years ago, and simplify the process of processing master customer data. And even so, I described the process of development of the platform as a whole as a serial of sequential projects. The work on different parts and layers progressed in parallel, and rollout happened at the time whenever both a particular part and infrastructure were ready. The merge of core banking systems was almost not noticed by the whole platform because it was isolated with the integration aggregation layer. And this part keeps very important and integral part of the platform, because it helps to ensure that whatever happens in the core banking systems, the business logic remains intact and neutral. And even so, some services can still work, and while there is service work performed on the accounting system. And today we have the open banking architecture implemented in the platform, and this implies mostly the microservices architecture and core banking isolation, probably we can say so, and independency. In the process and of the platform development, we worked out some sort of set of development tools and standards that allow our development team to achieve results fast. We reduced the length of release cycles from, as I said earlier, months and years to the matter of weeks and sometimes even days for new products and services. We implemented unified tools of processes for user and partner identification and authorization. Basically, it's one complex security tool, and we improved drastically the tools of login and monitoring, which helps right now to reduce incident investigations time from months as it was before the program to days and even hours. In order to get back to the topic of today's session, I'd like to highlight that this platform was born as an unintended result of the bank's complex digital transformation. And it allows transformation of any aspects of customer interaction in the bank and business in a digital form, from customer onboarding to loan origination. In our research in different conferences around the regions of Europe and MISA, which happened beginning of September and ongoing right now, I talked to many people from banks and core banking system providers, and there is clear interest in the systems of such class. Because whenever the bank goes through the digital transformation process, it has a dilemma whether to swap the system and do it fast, or perform evaluation process and develop the transformation digital capability over the long period of time, just adding the features and functions evolutionary, and just bringing the platform on the market allows our customers, our potential customers, to reduce the cost and avoid the risk of swapping core banking software, and speed up the digital transformation and reduce time to market drastically. To do this, to bring the platform to our customers, we have to do some work still. We need to break down the platform into the Lego construction to allow the banks to get different parts when they need it. Some banks don't provide service to business customers. Some don't do this for retail customers. And sometimes there is no need for consumer analytics, for example. And we need to provide this flexibility to our potential customers in the future. The other thing that we are going to do, and that's the work in progress right now, is the banking as a service. This is a growing trend, and in different parts of the world, it's taken off and allows different banks to provide banking services through their platforms, through their partners, such as retail networks and even some online retailers. The other major topic for us right now is the multilingual support, because without translation to different languages, it will be impossible to deliver the product to international markets. And the final, but not the least important part, is to build the team of special force delivery, because usually it takes a lot of effort to sit with customer, with the partner, and work out the solution that will suit their need and do it in the best way possible. And with this, I'm done. And if there is any questions, I would be more than happy to answer. Hello.
Yes, Mr. Yuri, we can hear you. Actually, we are waiting for the audience. If they have any question, they can just type it in Q&A box.
Okay.
Yes, if they don't have any questions, so I think we will come to the end of this webinar, but just let's wait for some seconds to see if there anyone is.
Okay.
Well, it seems that, okay. Anyway, thank you, Mr. Yuri, for the great workshop. Thank you so much for your time. And I would like even to thank all the attendants who came and participated actually in this webinar. We hope you enjoyed the experience and received beneficial information. So see you in our next workshop. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you for having me.